Welcome everyone to BFDI, but the middlemost voted contestant is out. First off, in BFDI 1B, the teams are formed, and the squashy grapes lose. Now I'll explain how this will work. Whoever is closest to the halfway point between the lowest and highest number of votes will be a goner. In BFDI 1, the least voted was a 7-way tie, each with 0 votes, and the most voted was Flower with 4. So whoever is closest to 2 votes is out. Golf ball and tennis ball both received 1 vote each, but since tennis ball was declared safe first in the canon episode, golf ball will be eliminated. And also, whoever was originally eliminated in the real episode replaces the eliminated one here. In BFDI 2, the cherries lose since Fiery couldn't fill the bucket by himself. "12 votes were received, an increase of 5. The middlemost voted is 2 votes again, as the least voted, Eraser, Bubble, Pin, and Pencil had no votes, and Spongy had 4. Blocky has 2 votes, so he is out of here. The cherries lose again in BFDI 3. 12 votes were received, the same as last time. The least voted is a 5-way tie with 0 votes, and the most is Spongy with 6. Woody with 4 votes is closest to 3, the halfway point. Since they lost the tiebreaker, they lose for the 3rd time in a row. There were 14 votes this time, with the least voted having 0, and the most voted, Woody, having 9. The closest contestant to the midpoint of 4.5, the first decibel midpoint, is Pin, meaning Spongy replaces her and dodges elimination again. He can't keep getting away with this. 4th defeat in a row, the cherries just can't catch a break, can they? For the first time, the votes go down to 13. The least voted has 0 again, but it's only Pencil this time. Spongy has the most with 5, but dodges once again since Eraser and Pen are equidistant from the midpoint. Pen gets out since Eraser had 1 less vote. At last, the grapes lose again. Sort of. Only Coiny, Needle, and Icy are up for voting due to the nature of the challenge. Needle uses her win token to halve her votes, so we'll use her halved total. That means the midpoint is 3.5, which Coiny is closest to at 5 votes. Fiery moves to the grapes in episode 7. And the grapes also win a rejoiner in episode 8. Woody only received 1 vote, and Blocky got 8. 3 contestants got 4, the closest to the midpoint of 4.5. Golf Ball would rejoin, as since she replaced Flower, she would have been the last member of the tie to be declared. The grapes get split into 2 teams in episode 9. And they also end up for elimination. This phase will be a bit more complicated. The 2 members closest to the midpoint will be at risk of leaving, and then if one is the one that normally switches, the other is eliminated. If not, then I'll choose based on who I think the winning team would take in. The midpoint is 9.5, so Teardrop and Snowball are at risk. The cherries choose Snowball, so Teardrop leaves the game. In episode 10, another name ends up losing. This time the midpoint is 8.5, so Needle and Flower are in danger. The cherries would certainly pick Needle over Flower. I see absolutely no reason to believe otherwise. Another name loses twice back to back, though this time the grapes win. Our midpoint is much higher this time at 19.5, so it would be between Fiery and Tennis Ball. Like in canon, I believe the grapes would choose Tennis Ball, meaning that BFDI's canon winner has been superseded. Now we're at the merge. I won't bother wasting time with points, so instead I'm just gonna show who loses each episode. In this one, it's Bubble, Tennis Ball, Needle, and Snowball. We have a midpoint of 21.5 for the first merge elimination. Tennis Ball is out, as he is the closest to that with 18 votes. In BFDI 13, Ice Cube, Snowball, Needle, and Match are up for elimination. The midpoint this time is 37.5, so Snowball is out with 34 votes. BFDI 14 sees a rejoin, and Blocky rejoins as Spongy. Also, Leafy, Rocky, Ice Cube, and Eraser got up for elimination this episode. Leafy had 20 votes, and Eraser had 99 for 119 total, so the midpoint is 59.5. Not counting David's 39 votes, Ice Cube is the closest with 33. Next, Bubble, Needle, and Spongy are up for elimination. Our midpoint is yet another decimal, 83.5. Needle is the closest to that value with 92 votes. Everyone except for Rocky loses this time around. When will the decimal midpoints end? It's starting to get annoying. With 45 votes, Snowball is the closest to the midpoint of 58.5. Golf Ball gets out in a contestant vote, and it's also time for a debut. Low Body only had 2 votes, and David had 102, so we finally have an episode with a non-decimal midpoint for the first time in a while. Whoever's closest to 52 joins. And that would be Nickel with 43. Also, Rocky, Blocky, and Pencil lose the last challenge of the points phase. We have the highest midpoint in the entire season so far at 161.5. Of these three, the closest is Blocky at 141. Pencil loses again alongside Eraser and Nickel. Right after last episode, we beat our previous midpoint record by having it be 201.5. Pencil gets out for real this time, so Nickel replaces Spongy. Eraser gets out in a contestant vote, and there's also a rejoin this episode. Who's closest to 98.5? Needle with 103, so she gets to replace Flower. Only Nickel gets immunity this time around, so everyone else was up for voting. The midpoint this time is 191.5, but which contestant is closest? That would be Bubble with 80 votes, leaving Leafy as the only contestant who isn't in someone else's place. Needle and Rocky get immunity, so Nickel, Spongy, and Leafy lose. What a weird looking final 5 this is, right? We have the highest midpoint ever again, at 264.5. Additionally, right after saying that Leafy was the last one to not be replaced, she gets eliminated with 287 votes. It's the final regular elimination, and Spongy got immunity into the final 3, meaning Rocky, Needle, and Nickel lose. Another new highest midpoint, and it's not a decimal too. Nickel's just a little bit closer to the midpoint of 305, so Needle and Rocky join Spongy in the finale. Final episode, what's our midpoint? Whoever's closest wins the whole show. $317. Needle is just a little bit closer to it than Rocky or Spongy, so she wins. She seems to win or come close to it in a lot of these alternate elimination orders. Thank you for watching, make sure to subscribe with notifications on and I'll see you in the next one.